Okay? Good afternoon. My name is Brian Friend, and I have taken a case against the Scottish and the English anti-hunting legislation through the courts to the House of Lords. And last October, I had the privilege of addressing the Law Lords at the House of Lords on this subject. And on the 28th of November last year, they gave their decision. Now, the appeal was dismissed, and in fact they found that in their view it had not been incompatible with the Convention of Human Rights. But they did say that it should go to Strasbourg for a decision, because it was up to Strasbourg to decide the reach of the Convention. But what is more important out of that judgment is what I've been trying to achieve for 7 years. A judge who would identify my way of life as hunting as my way of life, as important as other people's ways of life. And it was encapsulated in part of the speech of Lord Browne of Eton under Hayward. And I'm going to read the 2 paragraphs that are so relevant to my way of life. Lord Browne had agreed with Lord Bingham that the Convention at this stage, without further decisions from Strasbourg, did not apply to my way of life of hunting. But this is what he went on to say. But I strongly wish that it were otherwise, and for my part would hope to see the jurisprudence governing the scope of Article 8 further developed by the Strasbourg Court. Why should it not encompass a broad philosophy of live and let live, or, in Mrs. Pretty's case, let die? Why should people not be free to engage in whatever pursuits they wish, pursuits that is central to their well-being, as hunting was recognised in the courts below to be in the lives of some of these appellants, a core part, unless there is a good and sufficient reason, as indeed was found in Mrs. Pretty's own case, to forbid it. Article 8 protection is recognised to extend to a right to identity and to personal development, and as Pretty first articulated the notion of personal autonomy, it encompasses almost any aspect of a person's sexuality and a good deal else that is clearly personal. But why should respect for private life not encompass also wider concepts of self-fulfillment? The traditional culture and lifestyle of gypsies and Lapps is protected under Article 8 because each is recognised as an ethnic group with its own particular identity. But why should these groups alone have their way of life safeguarded? Why not others too? Of course, the hunting community is in no sense ethnically based, nor indeed comparably identifiable as a defined group. But it may be doubted whether many gypsies are any more wedded to their particular lifestyle than are numbers of keen huntsmen to theirs. Many people, in a real sense, live for some particular activity, whether for their profession or their recreation. In a real sense, it defines them. Often it provides them with feelings of identity, self-esteem, and position in the community. Take music or dance, or chess or bridge, or polo or golf, or climbing or canoeing. Should not a Human Rights Convention ideally operate to ensure that all such activities could only be banned for good reason? Some perhaps may be regarded as more personal than others, carried out in circumstances of great intimacy. But why should that be critical? All of them are activities which people may choose to devote much of their lives, and which for some are all important. The alternative clearly is that any or all of these activities could be banned perhaps by some Taliban-like administration, and that those affected, amateurs or professionals, however fundamentally, would have no right to call for a justification for the ban, and no redress in the courts were none afforded. The government enacting such legislation would of course be politically accountable to the electorate. But if a majority in the country favoured such a ban, prompted say by feelings of prejudice or jealousy towards a wealthy or intellectual elite, there might in fact be political advantage in it. I wish I had the ability to write words like that. That encompasses everything I've been saying for the last 7 years in the courts and for the last 20 years of my hunting life. Hunting is a way of life. The hunting community is, I believe, an ethnic group. And Lord Browne says we have a case to answer. Thank you.